Happy Friday, powerful leaders. I hope you had an amazing week. I am chatting with my Canadian sister today. Her name is Laura, and she is an amazing life and success coach, neuro-linguistic programmer, hypnotist, times technique practitioner, and she is the founder of the Born to Rise Society, where regardless of what your past seasons have looked like and what chapter you are on, anything is possible for you as you write your rise story. And I just love her energy and how much value she brings in the online world. And yeah, I was like, we gotta do this episode. And we also did a podcast swap. So if you want to listen to my episode on Laura's show, go check it out as well. I'm gonna leave the link in the bio. Without further ado, let's hit it. Welcome to the Powerful Female Leaders Podcast. I'm your host, Anna Patricia Bourgeois, certified business coach. I am here to help you up-level, generate consistent wealth, increase your confidence, attract dream clients, and master your mindset so that you can fully own your power and achieve next-level results in your online business and beyond. Every week, a powerful conversation will take place with amazing guests, or I'll share from my experience to help inspire you to start and scale the business of your dreams while being powerfully you. The time has come to stop playing small, stop hiding, and stop waiting. Now is the perfect time for you to passionately pursue your heart's desire as the powerful leader you were born to be. Are you ready? Let's do this. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Powerful Female Leaders Podcast. I am here today with Laura. Hey, girl.
Hi, everyone. I have to just start by complimenting the name of the podcast. I love it. Obsessed.
Yes. When I created this show, I was like, how should I call this? And then I was thinking of all my communities, all my clients. I'm like, they're all powerful women in business, women in leadership. So let's call it Powerful Female Leaders.
Yes, I love it. I'm all about female leadership. I think the world needs more female leaders now than ever.
Yes. So true. So tell us, who is Laura? What does she do?
My name is Laura Sanzo. I am from Toronto, Canada. Well, just the outskirts of Toronto. I just usually say Toronto because people usually know Toronto because of Drake and like Justin Bieber. So.
Yeah.
But I'm a certified life and success coach, a hypnotherapist, an NLP programmer, a Reiki master. I also have some other modalities in my tool bag like time technique and EFT. Predominantly, I just show more so women how to really unleash anything they have not unleashed up to this point. And what I like to say, help them and guide them, I should say, in creating their rise stories. Because I truly believe, we all have chapters in our stories. And some of those chapters are not, have been easy. But I truly believe those are the ones that are the catalyst for our rise stories and to really allow us to become the version of ourselves that we're meant to be in those leaders. The leader that we're meant to be of our own lives.
Yes, that's so good. Yeah, I feel like we all have those seasons where things are hard or things are not working the way we want them to
work. How much time do we have?
Yeah, exactly. So your services, wow, it must be like life-changing for your clients.
It's funny because I'm recently doing an upgrade for my NLP certification. So I had to, obviously go back and relearn some things and be a student again. And I actually just put this post in where I get my certifications, Yes Supply here in Toronto. And I was like, we, as coaches, we really need to become the client sometimes because we really forget how powerful what we do is. And we're always, serving others and guiding others and seeing them have these incredible shifts. I think sometimes especially women, because we're so used to just putting others before ourselves. I think
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we just put our own goals and our own development on the back burner, and then we have our clients doing these incredible shifts, and we're like, "Hey, we need to we need to catch up now." So it's been such an eye opener to be the client again, essentially, and
Mm.
be able to really understand what our clients experience.
Yes. Yeah. I always say that like powerful leaders, they're able to also be the student, and always be learning and always be growing and
Yes,
becoming even better.
$100.
Yeah.
I'm almost in my mid 40s, and I
Hmm.
don't think I'll ever arrive.
Yeah. There's always something to learn.
I know, especially in the time that we live in. Like, we have access to like everything. You don't even necessarily even need to like make monetary investments sometimes, to just like learn
Mm.
how to start a podcast, for example, or
Hmm.
publish a book. Like, we have so much access, um essentially, to anything. So this really is a great time to be alive, as much as some
It
people may not agree,
is.
but it really
Yeah.
is.
It is for sure, 100%. So tell us, like, do you think, like, growing up, you'd be where you are today? Like, tell us more about your story.
Yeah, so not at all. I call I always say my life was very status quo, and no disrespect to the status quo,
Yeah.
of course. Up into my late 20s. So
Mm-hmm.
I did what we're kind of told. I went to school, went to post secondary. I started working. My background is in retail
Mm-hmm.
management. I was in retail for a long time, up until I had my kids. And then obviously, then you start wanting more freedom, more time
Mm-hmm.
freedom, right? Of course, as
Mm-hmm.
mothers. And then I got married, and well, before I had my kids, I got married, and my life was, like I said, very status quo, until my
Mm-hmm.
marriage fell apart before my eyes, and then my life became
Mm.
not status quo at all, and very unaligned, and kind of everything
Mm.
I had, or what had been ingrained in me, of what my life should be, was kind of thrown out the window. And as much as that
Mm.
point I was mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally flatlining, it really was, and this kind of circles back to what I had said in the beginning, it really was the catalyst for my greatest growth. If I hadn't experienced my marriage falling apart at that same time, my son had been flagged for autism, so I had two kids like under the age of 4.
Mm.
um if I
Wow.
hadn't experienced all of that, there's absolutely no way that I would be where I am today, because up until that point, I didn't know anything of the personal development world in any way, whether it be reading or just spirituality, or in any sense. I had
Mm.
a salary job, and to
Mm-hmm.
me, I had arrived. So in terms of that growth piece, I wasn't even looking for it, because I didn't even know it was out there until my life fell
Mm.
apart. And then, right, until my life fell apart, and then I realized that something had to change. And then I was living in another area at that point, and one of the mothers had told me about The Secret, actually, by Rhonda Byrne. And of course,
Oh,
this was over 10 years ago, probably close to like
yeah.
14, 50 years. And I think Rhonda had been on the Oprah show maybe even a decade before that. So it wasn't something that had just come on the scene. I was, like I said, I hadn't been looking for anything, right? Because I just thought that I have a great job, I have a great husband. Like, what more do I need, right? I'm starting
Mm.
my family. And so then I got introduced to The Secret, and my life changed. And even if somebody is listening to this and they're not familiar with The Secret or Law of Attraction, my life really changed when I started to embody the notion that what was showing up was essentially because of me. So I started to empower myself and live at cause,
Mm.
and really learn how to operate at a different vibration, and really lean into my thoughts and what I was saying and my
Mm.
emotions. And then, honestly, from there, I became unstoppable. Because then, obviously, I started to change my vibration. So I started to attract different people to me. And the people
Mm.
that I was attracting to me were talking about personal growth, and we're talking about,
Mm.
you know, law of attraction, and we're talking about business growth and entrepreneurship and spirituality and reading books. And so my everything started to my world started to open, essentially. And then I
Mm.
started to dream again and, think, okay, what next? Okay, I did that. What
Mm.
next?
Yeah. Ah.
And so that
Yes.
was literally the catalyst for my growth. And 100%, if that had not happened, I would still probably be working at a Winners. Not that there's anything wrong with working at
Mm.
a Winners. I loved it for, the decade I was there, and I learned so much from being in retail. But that would probably be what I would be doing, and not,
Mm.
guiding women in the way that I do. So I'm truly, truly blessed. And
Mm.
I hope, if somebody listens to this, and if it's just even just one takeaway that they take away from our conversation, is that it really is in those moments that we're our moments of despair, almost, where we're like, can I ever come back from this? There's a saying that says things that fall apart. I'm paraphrasing, but you'll know probably that when things fall apart, it's for
Mhm.
better things to come together. And that is so true on so many levels.
Yes. Ah, I just got chills.
We like chills. That means we're being validated. Thank you, universe.
Yes. Girl, I feel this so deeply. And I love what you said about, the next step. Because we're always like, okay, but what's next? What can I do, like, to get better or improve? Or, like, where should I go? Where should I focus? So, if someone is listening to this right now and they're like in between, those moments,
Yeah.
like, what would you tell them?
To keep going, like, to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes, not that I think, I know, and I think people will agree, like, we live in a society that we want, like, that instant gratification. We want results right now. We,
Mm.
we want, if things don't happen, we quit, or we just don't believe. And I think we really
Mm.
underestimate the power of repetition. And just,
Mm.
in every essence, when we talk about manifestation, whether we're talking about subconscious work and the rectal activating system, and, whatever it is, um, we we spend so much of our lives creating our programming, and then, depending on people's belief systems, we start talking about generational programming and societal programming and past lives.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, but
Yeah.
even just from our childhood alone, we spend so much time creating our current programming, and we think that it's just going to just, reprogram itself in a matter of a short period of time. So I think it's just really give yourself that time. There's
Mm.
so much power, like I said, in repetition and just continuing to move forward. And I always love
Mm.
the saying that, most people quit right before payday.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Right. And so regardless of whether you're in coaching or network marketing or
Mhm.
whatever, not even as an entrepreneur, maybe you're just working, um as an employee in a salary job, or in terms of promotions, like, just
Yeah.
continue showing up and doing the
Yes. You
work,
gotta.
of course,
Yeah.
like, you working with a mentor, of course, but regardless, just like
Mhm.
continue showing up. I think that is the difference between those that create success and that don't. The ones that don't is
Mm.
they give it a short period of time and then they leave it, right?
Mm.
So if you're giving yourself
Yeah.
an expiry date, then you're already giving yourself permission to quit. So just keep showing up for
Mm.
yourself. We especially as females, we're always showing up for other people, but when it comes to ourselves, we're and our own goals and whatever it is, we're the first ones to quit it on ourselves.
Yes. Oh,
So keep
this is
showing up.
so
Keep
good.
showing up.
Yes. Yes. I love it. This is so, oh my gosh. Like, yes, like you got to keep going because I guarantee you, people are there, people are watching, and you never know when someone's ready to like press, buy the buy button, like, or send you a message and be like, hey, send me the link. Like, you got to trust that the people are there and they want to work with you and they like are so inspired by you,
Yeah.
and they're probably just getting their ducks in their row to be able to get in your world, you know. So you just never know when it's gonna happen,
You,
but you gotta trust that it is gonna happen, you know.
and 100%, and we focus so much on this human experience of like controlling the outcomes
Yeah.
and wanting to know what's going to happen. And so there really has to be exactly what you said, Anna, like that trust factor of just kind of
Hmm.
releasing the outcome. And
Yes.
you know, there's so many amazing experts out there when it comes to certain things, and I think because of that we focus
Hmm.
so much on engagement and how many followers we have. And you know,
Hmm.
to your point, even if that may not be where you want it to be, people are still watching. People that you don't
Hmm.
even know exist. And you know, I can share, and I'm sure you can share, and I'm sure every coach that's listening to this can share that they have at least one client that they didn't even know was watching them.
Yep.
So when they message, you're like, oh, like you may have known they were in your community, but so people are always watching. So that's why it's so important to just
Hmm.
keep showing up as your authentic self,
Hmm.
and you will attract the people that are meant to work with you in whatever capacity that
Hmm.
is.
100%. Oh, so good. So, working with your clients, like, do you notice like a type of pattern, or like, what are the things that come up the most that you help your clients with?
You know, it's funny. I have the great, amazing experience to work with clients
Hmm.
from all different cultures and walks of life. And,
Hmm.
you know, there's so much separation in this world and
Hmm.
on this human experience, yet we are all so similar when it comes to things like limiting decisions and programming and
Hmm.
such. So I think, for if I had to just kind of give a short answer to that, I think as women, I think for a lot of it is, you know, just stepping in our power, using our voice. For a lot of us, we come from generations where women just didn't use that voice. They just didn't have the opportunity. They
Hmm.
were just, you know, they kind of, my background is European. So, you know, European Italian, and even two
Hmm.
generations ago, like, you know, my grandmother knew her role. Her role was to mind the home. And more than that,
Hmm.
she just didn't have access to it. And, you know, that
Hmm.
generation kept their emotions in. They didn't really verbalize their emotions and what they were feeling. And so
Hmm.
this gets carried into on us in terms of like our DNA and just subconsciously. So
Hmm.
I think it's just really that for women, I would say would be the number one in any area, just really using their voice. And, you
Hmm.
know, I'm sure you can agree. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
even we're 2023, and there's still even just now, just even in the sense of corporate and professionally, there's still women that are very, they're not encouraged to use their voice. And if they use their voice, then they're being too masculine, or they're being too over
Hmm.
emotional, or there's always something. And it, you know, it's discouraging sometimes to listen to this, that we're still having to almost fight to use our voice. So I think that's a huge piece
Hmm.
for females, is that voice piece,
Hmm.
especially in, you know, very male dominated industry still.
Girl, you said it so perfectly.
Right. So
I think that's, yeah, that's one of the reason I'm like, I gotta create a podcast. I gotta give the stage to more women, you know, so they can share their voices.
100%, and not to take anything away from males leaders, because I think it's so important for, you know, for us to have that
Yeah.
balance, and we all bring something to the table. But,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm sure you can agree, and any other coaches that are going to listen to this, that we're still hearing stories from our clients in any, really any environment, but probably more so those corporate environments, where they're still kind of fighting to have a place at the table, essentially. And,
Mhm.
you know, it just kind of sucks sometimes to, you know, to hear
Yeah.
that, um and to know that 2 generations ago and before that, women had that same obstacle. So for us to still be having that same obstacle, like, that's why, again, I applaud you for having a podcast on around female leadership, because it
Mhm.
is so important. There's so much
Mhm.
we do bring to the table. There really is. And I think in terms of the pandemic and, this great resignation that happened after the pandemic, there's
Mm-hmm.
this need for this feminine leadership
Yes.
in every industry, and that feminine energy and what we bring. So
Yes, there
using their voice,
is.
I think, is, if I had to again give you a short answer to that, it would be that piece, opening up their throat chakra.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Oh, so good. So I ask this to everyone who comes on the show, and I want to know what you think.
Mm.
So for you, what does it mean to be a powerful leader?
Oh my goodness, let me sit for this for a second. I think for me to be a powerful leader is just to continue evolving. I always
Mhm.
say, if you knew me yesterday, then you don't know me today. And
Mm.
obviously, it doesn't have to be at that speed and that capacity, but I think just continuing evolving, growing, um, doing the work, that especially that energy piece, and just
Mhm.
continually showing up as the next version of yourself.
Mhm.
That's why, like, this is totally off topic, but as much as I do branding shoots for the purpose of having shots, I love the experience of doing those shots, because I usually do them quarterly. And when I look at the shots that I did from the past quarter, I'm always like, who is that person? Literally, no, you know what I mean? And even just
Yes.
from the things I choose to like wear,
Yes.
and I'm like, that's why I love doing those branding shoots, because it really is like an opportunity for me to scale how much I have grown within like the 4 months. So powerful
Mm.
leader to me is just to continue evolving. And I think also what's coming up for me is like, be comfortable to have those uncomfortable conversations. And again, this kind of circles back to that using your voice, um, and be okay with others around you not liking you almost. I don't know,
Mm.
this is just
Yes.
intuitively coming out. Um, but yeah,
Mhm.
just, be okay not being liked.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Amen.
The word boundaries is coming up for me, so I don't know.
Yeah. I love it. Oh, this is so good. And thank you for reminding me. I need to schedule a shoot soon. Like it's been a while.
I, yeah, I enjoy them. It's fun to dress up sometimes and play dress
Yeah.
up and that piece of it. But that is honestly why I do them. I love scaling my growth. And I'm sure
Yes.
everyone can do that and just be like, if you sometimes I'll look at like my Facebook profile pics from when I first started Facebook. I don't even know what year it was, because I was a late bloomer to everything. Until now, I was like, oh wow. And in those times, I thought I had arrived. So
Mm.
it's amazing when we're doing this work and when
Mhm.
we're on this like growth journey, how much we can really even surprise ourselves.
Yes. Yeah. And every single time I do a shoot, it's like a portal for expansion because I have so much fun on them. And then I end up having like my biggest cash months, like right after I do a shoot. Like it's just been insane. Every time I do one, I'm like, I gotta schedule one.
I know what you'll be doing after this call.
Yes.
I know, it's true. It's, as much as we talk about the subconscious work and such, like that energy piece is, it's
Yeah.
everything. Just showing, and that really is the key. I think sometimes we wait to have whatever those desired results are to start showing up as that version of us, and the feeling has to come
Yeah.
first. So it's really showing up, like whatever that shoot is going to be. If it's going to be like your 6-figure self, your
Mm.
7-figure self, your whatever it is, and start to showing up as that version of yourself. And I think a shoot is a great opportunity to do that.
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing.
This is so much fun. Let's just start. Continue, continue, continue.
Yeah. So yeah, let us know. Like, do you have, any last piece of wisdom, anything that you truly want to share with your audience before we wrap up?
I would say, I don't know. I'm just going to intuitively just say what is coming up for me, and that is La Bella Vita, and in Italian that means the beautiful life. And what I'm going to interpret from that is to show up for yourself, and to stop waiting. I think we're always waiting for the perfect time, and there really is no perfect time. We only really have the moment that we're in, and to really understand what it means for you to be here on this human experience, on this planet, having the experience that you're having. And even if it is just like one person that you touch whenever you make a post or whenever you go on a podcast or whatever it is, like that in itself is huge. So I think to like never underestimate the purpose that you have here with your time here.
Yeah.
And get started. Just do it. Like Nike. I just want to quote Nike. Just do it. Yeah, I think sometimes when, especially like within the coaching niche, there are so many incredible female leaders. Sometimes I'm sure for some people it's disheartening, right? And then we get into that lack mindset, and just really allow yourself to have an abundance mindset and really truly understand what you bring to this community, and how there is only one you, and you will attract the people that are meant to work with you.
Yes. Oh, so good. You're amazing.
Oh, you're amazing.
And I know people will want to go follow you, learn more about your services. So where can they go to do that?
I am across the board at I am Laura Sanzo. So on Instagram at I am Laura Sanzo, and then on Facebook, LinkedIn, Laura Sanzo. And my website is www.laurasanzo.com. So in any one of those platforms, I spend most of my time on Instagram versus any other social media platform. Oh, and I also have a podcast called the Laura Sanzo Podcast. See, I'm very consistent.
Yes, I love that consistency. It's key.
And you can listen to that, of course, on anywhere that you listen to your podcasts.
Yeah, go check it out. Laura, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you. This was just so much fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Powerful Female Leaders podcast. If you love this episode, make sure to spread the message, leave a review, and subscribe. I would forever be grateful for you. I also want to hear from you, and I want to know your feedback and your questions for future episodes. So don't be shy, say hi, and send me a message at Powerful Female Leaders Podcast on Instagram. Until then, I'll see you on the next episode.